Good morning. And this morning I want to talk about Project xCloud again and whether I think it will be any good, how well we can expect it to perform when compared to rival services such as Google Stadia, and what my first impressions are of the preview. A couple of things first though, there's no gameplay from xCloud in this video, and the reason for that is the current terms of service for those who are on the preview say that you're not allowed to show any footage. So I'm not allowed to show any footage. Sorry about that. Maybe down the line when it goes live and everyone can play it, we'll be able to show footage. I hope so. I don't want them keeping that closed down so we can't show how well it works. But for the time being, I can understand it's a preview, a alpha, beta, whatever you want to call it, and it's not ready for public consumption. So I can understand why Microsoft don't want people showing it, because people are going, oh, it's laggy, it didn't work properly, and spreading all sorts of rumours about it. And the reality is, the reason it's out there at the moment is so it can be tested in a real-world environment. So, yeah, don't be too hard on Microsoft on this one. They're doing the right thing. They're trying to make it work. And so people like me are on the preview program, and we're sending feedback to them. And hopefully that will make it work a lot better when it finally does arrive with the general public. Secondly, it is possible to still join the program, and you can see the screen up in front of you here, and it says stream Xbox games from the cloud. And if you go down, it shows you some games. Now there's 3 shown here: Sea of Thieves, Gears 5, Halo 5. There's also the game Killer Instinct as well, which is available, but those are the only 4 games that are currently available. But it does take you down and show you how to participate. And you need several things. You need a compatible mobile device. At this stage, that has to be an Android phone or a tablet. And it has to be version 6 or greater of Android. And it has to have Bluetooth version 4 plus. You also need a compatible Xbox wireless Bluetooth controller. And that's the newer Xbox controllers. The other thing you'll need is a 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi or mobile data connection of 10 megabits per second down. And obviously you're going to need the Xbox game streaming app, and that's in preview as you would expect. And I can say here that I actually did try using my 2.4, 2.5 gigahertz wireless network, and it was bloody horrible. It wouldn't work. So they're right, you do need a 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi. If you try it on the 2.5 or whatever it is, it won't work at all. I should remember that. I was talking about it the other day in another video, so I really should remember it, but I don't. It's 2.4, 2.5. But the 5 gigahertz wireless is what you need. And as I say, the wireless app. The other thing you'll need, well, that's pretty much it. The other thing you'll need to do is you'll need to go in and register. Now, I've registered and I've been accepted on the program. I know several people who've registered who haven't been accepted on the program. Not sure how they work out whether you can get on it or not, but it is still open to register. So you would just go and you would click the register now. And when you click on that, it takes you through and you have to enter a few details relating to your Xbox account. I think you have to already have an Xbox account, if I remember rightly. And you have to give them details of your phone, obviously, because it has to be a compatible phone and it has to be of the right level of Android version 6, as we were saying earlier. Once you've done that, and once you've got it all up and, well, once you've got it all set up so you can register and they've got your information, you should get an email telling you that they will send you details further down the line. And for me, I think it was 4 or 5 days later, I got another email saying that I had been accepted. And once you're accepted, you can go in and you can set up the app. And once the app's set up, you should be able to go into one of those 4 games and play them. And as I say, Sea of Thieves, Gears 5, Halo 5, and Killer Instinct. And I don't know why, but I always forget the name Killer Instinct for some reason. Never seem to want to be able to remember it, but that's the other game. 4 so far. And that is currently 3 more than Google Stadia are going to be offering at launch. And given that this is a preview, it seems that the Xbox preview is, at least on that level, better than Stadia. And I know you can buy games for Stadia, but we'll get into that a little bit more in a minute. So My experience of this, and I actually went out today, my kid's on half term at the moment, and I actually dropped him at a friend's house earlier. When he was at his friend's house, I drove around the corner, found somewhere to park up, and I used my phone network, my 4G phone network, to go in and play with this Project xCloud preview. And I have to say it worked pretty well. Now, if I compare, well, as I say, 2.5 gigahertz to 5 gigahertz, 2.5 is a waste of time, as I've already said. Over 4G, there is more input lag than on the 5 gigahertz wireless network that I was using at home. It's still playable though. I found that aiming within Gears took a little bit of getting used to because you can overshoot. Because of the lag, you know, it doesn't stop as soon as you would expect. So you find yourself overshooting when you're trying to aim. And that's the main thing I was experiencing. There was a little bit of screen tearing in a couple of places as well. Graphically, though, both on the 5 gigahertz wireless and on the 4G, it looked gorgeous. I've got a Samsung Galaxy S9, and that's what I was using to play on. And that's got an OLED screen, and the game looked stunning. Obviously, it's on a small screen, so it's very, very tiny screen to be using, so it will look good. And with the quality of the screen that Samsung's got, the S9 Plus is, as I say, what I was using, then you would expect it to look good. And it did. It looked absolutely stunning. Text is very small to read. I found that was quite difficult in places. I couldn't actually read the text at all. And when it's telling you to press a certain button, there's a couple of times when I was pressing the wrong button. But I understand that that's going to be dealt with over time because Microsoft are working on technology that will allow text to scale automatically depending on the device you're using. So hopefully that will improve down the line. As I say, there are only 4 games currently: Gears 5, Halo 5, Sea of Thieves and Killer Instinct. And I assume that's because they are representative of the sort of games that will stress the service. And I would imagine we're going to see more games down the line. Maybe games will come and go as, you know, Microsoft feel the need to test out more genres and styles of games. So 4 games at the moment, not a lot, but it is a preview. And, you know, it's free, so what can you complain about, really? How this will work, though, once the service actually goes live and what games we get is still open to debate. And I actually think that pricing is going to be key. Pricing, game selection, and obviously ease of use. They're all going to be very, very important. And whether or not the service is ultimately a success, well, it will be down to those 3 things. And I think Microsoft does have some advantages over Stadia in all of those areas. For a start, streaming will only actually be necessary with xCloud when you're away from your console or your PC. And that is kind of a double-edged sword because it does mean that Stadia could actually work out cheaper from a hardware point of view. Unless, of course, you're planning to use your phone docked or something so you can plug it into your television and use xCloud in that way, which should be possible. Don't see any reason why that shouldn't be possible. The plus point, though, is that for the foreseeable future, Xbox games will be more robust and less laggy in the home because, well, they'll be using dedicated hardware. So obviously the cost there is more expensive, but the trade-off is that when you're actually at home, you should be able to play your games exactly as you do now and only use the xCloud function when you're out and about. Even Google have admitted that it's going to be at least a couple of years before Stadia is as robust as home consoles or the PC. So by that time, I would have expected xCloud to have matured significantly, and maybe Microsoft will be looking to push xCloud more. But for the time being, I do think that Microsoft has got the advantage there. And going back to pricing, as far as I'm concerned, Stadia's pricing model is, well, it's frankly insane. I can't see what there is in Stadia to entice gamers to jump ship. You know, if you've already got a portfolio of games or a collection of games on the Sony PlayStation or the Xbox, I don't actually see what Stadia offers you that would make you jump ship, because you would have to buy those games again. And there's no first-party exclusives with Stadia that I can see, certainly not at this stage, that would make you jump ship. Why would you buy the games and stream them on Stadia when you can buy them and play them on your Xbox or your PlayStation? And in the Xbox's case, you can also take those games out and about with you, or at least hopefully that's what should happen. And again, I think xCloud could be in a very strong position here, because the games on the Xbox are there. And if Microsoft find a way to integrate xCloud into Game Pass and Xbox Live, like they've already done with Game Pass PC and Game Pass Ultimate, well, then they really are onto a winner. And as I say, the key is pricing. But Microsoft have already shown how aggressive they can be in that department. And I wouldn't be at all surprised if they don't continue down that route with xCloud. If they come out and they offer xCloud as part of an integrated service, as part of an integrated service with Game Pass and Xbox Live, then it should be a much more attractive proposition than Stadia, which, as I've already said, looks too expensive. You're paying for Stadia and then you're having to pay for the games on top. And I don't know what the pricing model is going to be for xCloud, but I would not be at all surprised to see it integrated in some way with Game Pass. We'll have a Game Pass Ultimate xCloud Edition or something. I don't know what they're going to call it. Microsoft has got a pretty bizarre way of going about naming things, but I can see it being much more attractive than Stadia. I really can. And look, it's early days for xCloud, and the service is, well, is far from ready for the mainstream, but it does have promise. And what I've seen of it so far, well, I was pleasantly surprised with how well it performed. And with improvements, I could really see myself adding it to Game Pass and Xbox Live, assuming they do remain sensible with the pricing. I can't, for the foreseeable future at least, I can't see xCloud being my preferred way of gaming. I don't see streaming in any way, shape or form being my preferred way of gaming. But if I can take my Xbox games with me, the games that I've got on Game Pass, for instance, if Game Pass is integrated with xCloud, and I can take those games with me and, I don't know, sit down and play for half an hour while I'm waiting for my kid, while he's doing his drumming lesson or his swimming lesson or whatever it might be, then yeah, the convenience of that I can see appealing to me, much more so than Stadia, which is an all-or-nothing proposition. And that is the big difference between xCloud and Stadia. Stadia offers only one way to play, whereas xCloud is part of a much bigger and varied infrastructure. And as such, I think xCloud's in a much better place overall to succeed. I really do. And look, I could be completely wrong. I admit that. I've been wrong before, and no doubt I'll be wrong again. And, if you think I'm wrong and you think that Stadia is a better proposition, come and tell me in the comments and explain why you think that is, and we can hash it out down there. And if you like this one, do the usual, give me a thumbs up and all the rest of it, subscribe, you know the drill. And I'm going to go and grab myself a cup of tea and then get myself ready to go and pick my lad up. I think I'm picking him up. He might be being dropped off. I'm not sure. I'll have to check. Anyway, I'll speak to you in the next one. Bye.